Mic check, 1 2 1 2. There's Rocksteady, King of the Pit TV, live and large. This one is devoted to Carl Miller. Carl has messaged me on the Patreon and he says, you need to get onto the next Less Than Jake album. Let me tell you what, I've not rushed onto the next Less Than Jake album from Pezcore because I like this record. I love this. I'd go as far as saying love this record. Maybe a little less than what I used to do back in the day, but I am familiar with it. We are still going to go through it, as it is a recommendation to listen through. It might not necessarily be a first-time listen, and if I'm to be real with you, as far as like 16 tracks on the album is concerned, I might not be very familiar with 1 or 2 tunes on this record, so there is going to be an air of like newness that I'm going to come across. But with that being said, this is a very nostalgic record to me. I don't know when this was put out. This was definitely put out in the 90s sometime. Have we got a time? 1996, right? So, man, I wasn't, like, you know, consciously available when this record was put out. But I played a game on the PS1 called, I don't know, it was like Street Skater or something. Does anyone know that? I don't know the name of the game in particular, but it had sugar in your gas tank on the soundtrack. And dude, it used to get me so excited listening to that tune. And ever since, you know, I've returned to this record from time to time, and the production value, the sound, the artwork, there's just such an incredibly heavy, nostalgic feel I get from this. I love the energy. I am a very big fan of ska punk music. Some more than others. I like ska as a whole. First wave, second wave, third wave. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump in, shall we? And I've got a controversial one with what I just said. I used to produce with some guy. I was in a hardcore band back in the day, and I produced with some guy who recorded some great UK hardcore bands back then, like some really timeless acts in his attic. Which he was like inhabiting with his parents. He was an older fella, which is quite funny. He was just smoking out, recording in his parents' house, recording these cool acts. And he said, bro, the only ska punk band that mattered was Operation Ivy, because I had an Operation Ivy back patch, because Operation Ivy was like one of my favourite bands, if not my favourite band back then. And without further ado, Automatic is track number 1. Let's go.
This is the old dude, Harry.
What's
J.
good,
Hamilton,
people?
Listening to Less Than Jake.
But what a great sound. I've seen Less Than Jake a couple of times now. They always tour over here with Real Big Fish, Zebrahead, always on tour with them bands. Let's put some respect on the credits. Producer Less Than Jake, studio personnel mixer Michael Rosen, Craig Aronson, producer and co-producer, studio personnel Kevin Reeves. We got Vinny Fiorello, Chris DeMakes, and Roger. I think Roger's like the guy inney, really. But Roger's the bassist slash vocalist, isn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong. The guy with the dreads, I think he's the more iconic figure in the band. And with that being said, I say that to say this. Less Than Jake are a great band, but it feels like they don't really get rock star status as individuals. Because I don't really know anyone in the band. Like, reading them are just like a bunch of random names to me. As opposed to like having, you know, an iconic name in the band. But then again, maybe I'm just not as in tune with this particular crowd of music as I should be. But hey, you would think like you would know the members of Less Than Jake by name, right? Every day. The thing with this band is that for some reason, I think like Blink-182, they have an emotive power behind them. Even though the music is relatively simple, it doesn't need to have like an emotional value. But for some strange reason, Less Than Jake has got like a heavy undercurrent of like emotional investment. You tell me what I'm trying to say. Come on. Good thing with these bands as well, Less Than Jake, Rancid, and so on and so forth, these punk bands who can write great songs, like they're great songwriters, they use solo sections like additional choruses per se. They create hooks with the melodies. They don't try to show off. This is the way you optimize a solo section. It's not about virtuosity and technicality. If you can sing along to a solo, what a great bit of writing that is. The Beatles were doing that. That's good songwriting. And of course, we've got the hook. Great track, great introduction, great showcase of what we're to expect. Punk rock drums, punk rock tempo, ska punk, clean playing, overt distorted, separate sections, the yin and the yang. We've got Happy Man coming up next.